The road continues on, and the Phillies run off to the desert with the reassured confidence of being road tested while finding success. Road triumphs have been part of this team's accomplishments the last few seasons. Discovering ways to defeat your opponent in their own backyard is a good way to separate yourself from others throughout the season and goes a long way toward not getting tripped up during your travels. The daunting task of hitting the road in Major League Baseball is not something that's usually received quite positively by a specific team. But for the Phillies, well, the road has been pretty good for them. They begin a 3-game series tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Chris Wheeler. Gary Matthews will be along a little later on. Well, the Phillies are off to another good start on the road. In fact, only the Tampa Bay Rays have a better road record in Major League Baseball this year. And there's just something about this team playing away from Philadelphia.
Yeah, as you said, Tom, it's nothing new for the Phillies to play well on the road. They've done that the last few years. They've gone to the World Series the last couple of years. And part of the reason is they're a very good road team. Now, the first 9 road games, same as last year. And that's a good part of it, of course. And the numbers are a little bit different, though. They're not hitting many home runs right now. They're in a little bit of a home run drop. But look at the earned run average as opposed to last year. So the bottom line is you had to score a lot more runs and hit more home runs because the pitching wasn't as good. Right now, the pitching's been great on the road.
Well, speaking of the pitching, the starting pitching in particular has been outstanding on this road trip. It actually carried over to the last couple of games of the homestand. And tonight, Cole Hamels will get another start, building off of an 8-inning performance his last time out.
Yeah, he was great in that game in Philadelphia on Sunday against the Florida Marlins. Cole Hamels had everything working for him in that game. We talked about it as it was going along, and in my opinion, he was really aggressive with his fastball and located it well. You watch over and over his fastballs in good spots. Then he was able to use his breaking ball. He was able to use that great changeup, and that new cutter that he has, too, has been very, very effective for him. Cole Hamels is an excellent athlete. He'll get his hits. He'll field his position. He's one of those guys that has a chance to be really good. Now, as Tom mentioned, the starting pitching has been great. And it's only been a 2-2 record with that great pitching because the offense has been off a little bit. But starting pitching, a very, very big part of this sport. And then, of course, your bullpen has to get it done at the end. Except if Roy Halladay's on the mound.
Except for Roy Halladay's on the mound. The starters so far this year, an ERA of 3.07 coming into tonight's ball game here at Chase Field. Cole will be opposed by right-hander Chris Benson, who's coming back from arm problems over the last couple of seasons. That's right, the Phils are out here in Phoenix, but it hasn't stopped the Phillies fans from coming on out. We'll take a look around Major League Baseball when we return to Chase Field. Phillies baseball. The three-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. A nice night for baseball. Temperature 72 degrees, so the roof is open for tonight's ball game. And some scores around the National League on the Toyota Major League scoreboard. The Nationals lead the Dodgers 5-1. Adam Dunn has hit 2 home runs. He now has 3 on the year. Manny Ramirez was placed on the 15-day disabled list for the Dodgers. That one's moved to the bottom of the 8th inning. Other games of the National League, the Mets have taken a 3-2 lead over the Braves in the bottom of the 7th. Ike Davis, the rookie for New York, has hit his first Major League home run. John Maine left that ball game with an apparent injury as well for the Mets. Meanwhile, the Rockies and the Marlins postponed because of inclement weather, not rain. It's been snowing out in Denver. They'll play a doubleheader beginning tomorrow at 5:10. And as play begins tonight, the Phillies find themselves a game and a half up in the National League East over the Florida Marlins, 2 games ahead of the Braves. And then there are the Nationals at 8-8, 2.5 games off the pace. Well, it's again a gorgeous night here in Arizona. Game 1 against the Diamondbacks when we return. The starting lineups and the first pitch. Might be open this entire weekend. Let's take a look at the Phillies starting lineup tonight. Brought to you by Xfinity. Good news, Placido Polanco's back in there. He'll bat second behind Chase Utley, behind Shane Victorino. Chase Utley hits third at second base, followed by Ryan Howard, the first baseman. Jason Worth is in right field hitting fifth. Ben Francisco starts in left. He'll hit sixth. Juan Castro bats seventh. Brian Schneider does the catching. He'll hit eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is left-hander Cole Hamels. And they will face veteran right-hander Chris Benson, who's making wheels just his second start of the year. But it's also the continuation of what this has been a long comeback for Chris Benson.
Yeah, and some of it was with the Phillies organization. Thomas, what he knows, a couple of years ago, he spent his entire season rehabbing with the Phillies and then going to 2 minor league stops. They never could get him to the big leagues. He just wasn't ready. Then last year he spent some time with Texas. This season, 1 start. Said he pitched pretty well. He's nowhere near. When he first came up, this guy really had a heavy sinker. Our Southwest Airlines scouting report on him, and he's pitched some really good games against the Phillies in his career. See his record at 5-0 with a 3.22 earned run average. But this is not the guy who went 5-0 against him early on in his career and with some other teams.
Or the guy that used to be or was a #1 pick out of Clemson, and they had high hopes for him when the Pittsburgh Pirates took him.
He was not only #1, he was the overall #1 in the whole country that year.
Player of the year in college baseball. And there's A.J. Hinch, the former Phil, who is in his first full year as a manager of the Diamondbacks. He took over for Bob Melvin last season, went 58-75 as the season went on in 2009. And Charlie Emanuel managed A.J. Hinch. Like a lot of folks, he thought A.J. might turn out to be a pretty good manager one day, but I don't think anybody expected it to be at the age of 35.
No, he was in their front office when they decided to make a change here and put him on the bench. It's been a little bit of a struggle trying to find his way.
Shane Victorino leads it off, and we're underway as the first pitch is taken at the knees for a strike. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Shane hitting .212 with 3 home runs and 13 runs batted in. 2 for 14 on this road trip. And quickly he's in the hole, 0-2.
Yeah, it's nice with the roof open tonight. The temperature in the 70s. Usually you come out here, you can fry an egg on the pavement. But it's really different. It's actually a little bit chilly here this afternoon.
Oh, it was 95 earlier this week here in Arizona. They expect the temperatures to get up there again later on this weekend. 0-2 the count to Victorino. And he's down on strikes. An off-speed pitch from first Benson. 1 away here in the top of the first.
He'll throw changeups to left-handed batters, and that's what he does here. He threw him 2 changeups, in fact, and there's the one that he gets him to swing at.
So 1 away here in the top of the first. And here's Placido Polanco, who missed last night's game because of a sore elbow. And you see the brace, the protective guard on that left elbow. He was hit by a pitch from Tim Hudson in game 2 of the series against the Braves. And he left late in that ball game because, as he said, he just didn't have anything on his swings. And they gave him yesterday off. I talked to him today, and he said that the treatment that he got loosened things up a little bit, and he feels like he's in pretty good shape. And he takes a curveball for a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Greg Dobbs did a nice job for him last night. He played third base well. He had a couple doubles, factored in the early scoring in that game that gave the Phillies a fairly easy win.
Down low, 2 balls and 1 strike.
A few changes in the lineup tonight, as you mentioned, Tom, and one of the reasons being the travel coming out here. You know, I think if he could get to bed like 6 o'clock body time this morning, and he Charlie just decided to do a few things different.
Well, one of the things he's decided to do is give Ben Francisco a chance to play left field for Raul Ibanez. 2-2 the count to Polanco. Diamondbacks begin play tonight. There's Raul, who has tonight off. Carlos Ruiz, the jacket on, he also has tonight off. Diamondbacks are 6-9 as play begins tonight. And that one is looped down the right field line, and Justin Upton is over, and he makes the catch in fair territory. 2 away. So Benson's got the first 2 outs here in the first, and that'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. A.J. Hinch and the Arizona Diamondbacks picked up Chris Benson after spring training got underway. He made 1 start in spring training. And with the unlikelihood that Brandon Webb will be able to pitch until, they hope maybe May, but they're not sure. Benson and Rodrigo Lopez, guys like that, were given a chance to be part of this rotation. And Benson now facing Chase Utley with 2 outs, and Chase takes a fastball at the knees for a strike.
Well, they're a pretty good offensive team. We'll talk about that more when they come up. They get a lot. They see a lot of pitches. They get a lot of base runners. They have some power, but their pitching's not very good right now. And especially late in the game, they've been losing games with their bullpen.
Yeah, the ERA overall for A.J. Hinch's pitching staff, 5.31, which is 12th best in the National League. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Kathy Allen of Philadelphia. And if the Phillies hit a home run tonight, then Kathy will win $500. Been a little bit of a drought for the Phillies with the long ball. And Chase is down on strikes. He went fishing for a high fastball, and the inning is over. So Chris Benson works a perfect 1-2-3, top of the first, middle of the first. It's the Phillies nothing, and the Diamondbacks coming up. First, the Diamondbacks getting a chance to face Cole Hamels. Let's take a look at their lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Leading it off at second base, Kelly Johnson. Stephen Drew, the shortstop, bats second. Justin Upton's in right field hitting third, followed by Mark Reynolds, the third baseman. Adam LaRoche is at first base batting fifth. Chris Long hits sixth. Cole Gillespie, who's had just one at-bat in the big leagues, is in left field batting seventh. Chris Snyder hits eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is right-hander Chris Benson. And they're facing Cole Hamels, who's coming off a very good outing his last time out, Wheels.
Sure is, Tom. He was really good in that game in Philadelphia on Sunday when the Phillies didn't score any runs. Lost that game 2-0. But he pitched into the ninth inning. See what he's done with left-handed hitters. 0-43, which is a little bit of improvement on his breaking ball and cutter.
And he's got good numbers here at Chase Field in 2 starts. 2-0 with an ERA of 1.32.
Southwest Airlines scouting report on him. And see, talking about working hard on those secondary pitches, he's really improved in all 3 starts this season, culminating with that good game on Sunday.
Yeah, and you saw the fastball range for Cole, 88 to 91. He has been really at 91, 92 for the most part consistently in his first 3 starts. 1-1 the count to Kelly Johnson, the former Atlanta Brave.
The guy we used to see a lot in an Atlanta uniform, and he's getting on base quite a bit for them. Never thought of him as a leadoff type guy. He sees a lot of pitches, and he's on base quite a bit. Perfect for a leadoff batter.
Well, Cole is ahead 1-2, and there's his first curve of the night, and it's a little high, so it's 2-2. Johnson last year with the Braves hit .224 with just 8 home runs. He was a little banged up, and he lost his second base job to Martin Prado. Chopper off the plate. Slow roller. Oh, he's going to have to hurry. Gloves it. Flips underhand with the glove. In time to get Kelly Johnson. And that has become a patented Chase Utley play defensively.
Yeah, he's really good at that. And that was a weird looking ball right there. You could hear that thump, as Tom said, right off the plate. And then it started about 3/4 of the way out to him. Watch a right turn where you couldn't see it. It had already done it as he makes that great play. But it took a crazy right turn. And it didn't fool him at all. Utley really tracked that thing well, considering. Watch it going out there now. Watch this, how it goes to the right. Look at how he had to change direction and then get after it. That was a really good play, considering the way that ball started to move away from him.
Well, here's Stephen Drew. He's been hot of late. His batting average up to .315 with a couple home runs and 8 RBIs.
That thing like it would hit a sprinkler head or something.
Fastball on the inside corner for strike one. 1-1. Drew last year hit 12 home runs and had 65 runs batted in.
Come right out of the chute with some left-handed hitters against Hamels, and they have an all right-handed bullpen, which you don't see much anymore, and which helps the Phillies, obviously.
That one's hit hard, gloved nicely by Howard, who runs it to the bag, 2 away.
Ryan's played really well on this road trip to Atlanta, now here in the first inning in Arizona. Defensively, he's been outstanding.
Like every other series, the Phillies infielders were out taking infield before batting practice and during batting practice today, just getting used to this turf. They say this is a much better surface than the one at Turner Field in Atlanta. So the one at Turner Field in Atlanta is just really soft. Here's Justin Upton. Swings at the first pitch. Softly hit to short. Castro's got it. Low throw. Dug out by Howard. And the Phil's good defense continues here in the bottom of the first. 1, 2, 3 go the Diamondbacks. It's a scoreless game as we go to the second. Chris Benson goes to work against Ryan Howard. Ryan is 3 for 13 on this road trip, and he hits that one in the air to straightaway center field. Chris Young started back, but now he's sets himself and quickly one away. Hey fans, visit the official online shop of the Phillies at Phillies.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear straight from the official source. The Phillies.com shop. Accept no substitutes. Well, one away, and here's Jason Worth. Jason with 9 doubles this year, which sits atop the National League. He had a couple of those doubles earlier on this road trip against the Braves. But he's had some good numbers of late against the Diamondbacks. Look at that, 8 for his last 16 against them. And that one misses inside. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Bench is doing a pretty good job of getting pitches near the strike zone, but the Phillies are really aggressive against him tonight, which is unusual for the way they played lately, and they're swinging a lot of bad balls.
Yeah, the storyline for the Phillies so far this year has been their patience. In fact, I talked to Milt Thompson about that last night, and Milt was saying that the players, he thinks, have finally bought into it because the game has changed so much over the last few years. Umpires' strike zones have changed more, so they don't call as many pitches that are close to the outside or inside part of the plate, so they take them and wait for that pitch that they can drive.
Yeah, all the pitchers are complaining about the strike zone this year.
Down and away, 3-2 to Worth.
You know, whether or not they're really all over these umpires that try and be uniform and not to call anything a little off the plate one way or the other, we don't know that. And I'm not much of a conspiracy theory guy, but there seems to be a pattern developing.
Chopper towards short, and Stephen Drew off the glove side throws out Worth. And the second out is recorded here in the top of the second. Well, I thought that was interesting because the approach has been, you know, very good for the Phillies in the first few weeks of the season. You hope it continues to carry over. I mean, Jason always takes a lot of pitches, as you just saw with his at bat, but it really has helped them, you know, score as many runs as that they've scored because they're averaging over 6 per game.
It also helps them get into teams' bullpens, and you know there are spots in bullpens you want to get into on every team. And they have terrible middle relief. Well, you know, middle relief is the part of your club that you don't want to use for the most part because, you know, the guys you have them as starters or you have them near the end, and you know, middle relief sometimes are guys that are not quite good enough to do those 2 roles. So the quicker you get into the middle of a bullpen, the more successful you can be.
1-1 the count to Ben Francisco, making his second start this season. Good numbers combined between the Indians and the Phillies. At this point last year, he was a starter for the Indians. 2-1 pitch to him. And a little high and outside, 3-1.
This guy really likes to hit fastballs too. And Charlie Manuel loves his hitting approach, and he likes to get him out there once in a while, and that's what he's doing here tonight.
Castro waits on deck. And Francisco thought he took ball 4, but instead it's now 3-2. There's Charlie. I mentioned his team is scoring over 6 runs per game. They're 3rd in the league in runs scored, averaging 6.1 per ball game. And there's a looper back at first. That's going to be a tough play. Upton on the run over toward the line. He's not going to get there. That's in for a base hit. He got to it quickly and has a strong arm, so Francisco holds up at first.
Benson made a good pitch on Ben Francisco, but you know, he just jammed him when he flares a base hit down the right field line.
So a 2-out single, just the second hit for Ben.
See him get tied up with that as his arms come really close to his body, and there it lands about, well, maybe what, a foot and a half fair.
Well, that'll bring Juan Castro to the plate. Castro has had a good run filling in for Jimmy Rollins. 7 RBIs, 4 runs scored.
Well, they wouldn't play the second baseman over more towards the hole on Castro.
Yeah, they're leaving a pretty wide spot over there.
reason you say that is because he hit so many balls over. Plus, there's 2 outs. You're not cheating. You don't have to cheat for a double play near the bag now. See how close they are over here, and he hits a lot of balls in that area.
Quick toss over. Francisco's back. Jimmy Rollins told me today that he's been taking some more batting practice, not only before the game with the team left-handed, but he's been hitting in the cage right-handed. He said he got some treatment today, and he said it really loosened up that calf. And you know, he's still not where he would like to be, but Castro's done a very good job defensively and offensively. One of the things he hasn't done that Jimmy can do is run, and he hasn't hit home runs. But that's okay because he's really filled in nicely.
I remember during the offseason going around in some speaking engagements and talking about Castro, and Larry Baugh and I had talked about him.
The catch and the inning is over. So the Phils get a base runner, but Ben Francisco stranded. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Middle of the second, still no score. Draft day in years. Get up to the minute alerts at csnphilly.com. Then every night get live reports direct from the NovaCare complex, plus expert analysis on how the draft will impact the season ahead. Get total Eagles draft coverage with
this guy, Mark Reynolds, is a serious bombardier at home plate. You can strike him out, too, but you make a mistake, he is mule strong. He had a home run off Lidge here last year that was unbelievable how far it went.
His 2 home runs for his career against the Phillies, including that one against Lidge, and that one he sprays right off his foot.
That was a game Cole pitched very well here, and then Lidge came in for a save. I think he had a 3-run lead, 2-run lead. But anyway, he hit the home run in the 9th inning. They wound up a 1-run game, and Cole won the game. And Lidge picked up a save. But boy, that was a long one. And Scott Rowland hit one here. Well, they renamed the rest. No, it's still called Friday Sports Grill up there. He hit it up in that spot.
0-2 pitch to Reynolds up high. Now, Reynolds has been battling a sore right quad, and they think that's one of the reasons why he scuffled somewhat with his average. As you said, though, Wheels, he will strike out. In fact, last year, a major league record 223 strikeouts.
Well, he swings.
It was a great stat that was bouncing around. You know, Reynolds has played 432 career games. He has 573 strikeouts. You compare that to somebody like Joe DiMaggio. As he strikes out again, as Hamels picks up his first strikeout of the night. DiMaggio played 1,736 games and struck out just 369 times.
Yeah, well, a little bit different game, a little bit different player. That was a curveball. It was kind of a hanger, actually, but he double pumped on it and swung over it.
So one away, and here's Adam LaRoche, doing 279. Adams always had good numbers against the Phillies. 10 homers and 33 runs batted in.
I have two guys here now that played against the Phillies in a lot of big games when they were the Braves. Adam LaRoche and Kelly Johnson.
Yeah, LaRoche spent 2 different tours with the Braves, including
and he's hit homers often. He loves hitting at Citizens Bank Park.
The breaking ball, that one's outside. LaRoche signed a 1-year deal with the Diamondbacks this past offseason. A lot of folks thought that the Braves would keep him after acquiring him in a trade from the Boston Red Sox last season. But instead they signed Troy Glaus because they wanted another right-handed bat in their lineup and not the lefty in Adam LaRoche. This guy played for 3 different teams last year. But did a nice job with the Braves at the end. 2-2 pitch. Chopped foul. Well, it doesn't matter where we go, there are always Philly fans in town, and Phoenix is no different. And another strikeout for Hamels. LaRoche is down swinging, 2 away here in the second inning. And Cole has retired 5 consecutive batters. And I don't know about you, Wheels, but his fastball's got some really good life on it again tonight.
Yeah, and he's right in that. One of the keys to his fastball, of course, is location. You know, he's right not down the middle with it. He's in good spots. And the thing he did on Sunday, and they were talking about it before the game tonight, is that he maintained it throughout the game. He maintained the velocity. And hopefully he can do that again.
Oh, 2 away, and here's Chris Young. And there is that velocity, and it's no balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, he's right around 90, 91, which is fine if it's in good spots. See, that's a good one to throw right there. And he's able to push a right-handed hitter like this off the plate, and then possibly
Young. Chris Young was like a house of fire to start the season. He had 15 RBIs through the first 10 games. But he's not had an RBI since the 13th of April.
This is another guy who can fool you with his power. Now, he's not Reynolds, but he's really strong. And he burst onto the scene a few years ago hitting a lot of home runs.
And Hamels bends it back there.
I like this the way they're doing that. Brian Snyder catching tonight. Ruiz does the same thing. You have to use your fastball into these right-handed hitters if you want to get them out with changeups. And right now, early in this game, Cole is really busting the right-handed hitters in. Brian, the catcher here tonight, Carlos Ruiz getting the night off after that long series in Atlanta and the late night arrival here.
Two balls, 2 strikes the count to Chris Young. And that one is pulled toward the hole, a base hit. Pitch that was just left up a little too much.
Well, he set up the fastball, set up the changeup away. And as you said, Tom, was out over the plate a little bit, and he's able to stay back enough to hit it.
Well, the Phillies got another boost today when they found out that Joe Blanton and Brad Lidge each pitched well in their rehab assignments with Reading. Blanton went the first 3 innings. He allowed 4 hits, struck out 3, walked 1, did not allow a run. Meanwhile, Lidge pitched another scoreless inning. Brad's velocity apparently has been in the low 90s, and he feels like his location is getting better and better with his slider. And his hope is that he can return very soon for the Phils. Meanwhile, Blanton, Ruben Amaro said, will probably get 1 more rehab start. And with Jay Happ on the disabled list, they'd like to get Joe back as quickly as possible. As Jay is looking on, Sitting next to Roy Halladay in the Phillies dugout. Here's Cole Gillespie.
Cole against Cole. Huh?
I didn't imagine that would happen that often.
Cole on Cole.
See what Gillespie did at AAA this year in very limited time before his call-up. He has one at-bat in the big leagues. And with that one at-bat, he has a double.
Pinch hit double.
He's a guy that the Diamondbacks got last year in a deal for Felipe Lopez from the Milwaukee Brewers. And A.J. Hinch has been trying to find some spots for not only Gillespie, since he's gotten brought up, but also Gerardo Parra, who we saw last year with the injury to Connor Jackson, who had been leading off for the Diamondbacks. Some of these guys are going to get some more ABs out in left field. And 2 balls and 2 strikes the count.
See what that fastball was in a real good spot. It was down and away. You know, Hamels, when he has high pitch count games, and he hasn't had them as much this year, throws that high 4-seamer out over the plate, and they keep fouling it off all the time. Next thing you know, his pitch count's up. When he can throw that one down like that, they won't have a tendency to foul it as much. They'll put it into play.
Downward plane. That's what they always talk about with Cole. And that there were times last year we had a good downward plane, which helped out his changeup. And in spring training and even the first few starts, he's had a good downward plane.
That was supposed to be in a little bit more than it was, but still, it was not right down the middle either.
2-2 the count. With Young leading off first, and the pitch. And a little low.
Trying to cut her then on a 2-2 count and miss with it.
He's thrown a couple cutters tonight that I think have had more movement than the cutters had had in his previous starts. Runner goes, pitches, swung on and missed, and there's the changeup from Cole Hamels. He gets his 3rd strikeout in the 2nd inning, and that's his first real good change of speeds in tonight's ball game. For the Diamondbacks in the 2nd, no runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Cole Hamels is through 2. Let's see if the Phil's offense can get him rolling as we go to the 3rd. A question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan forum section and submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, can you name the 5 managers in Diamondbacks history?
Probably not.
The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning.
One of them's a broadcaster. I know that. And a good one.
That's true. He won a World Series, too.
Yes, he did. That's right. There was a World Series one in this ballpark. Diamondbacks and the Yankees in the 7th game. Just a great World Series.
Ryan Schneider leads things off against Chris Benson.
And the count 1-1 to Schneider. Back in 2001, Mariano Rivera doesn't blow too many games, but Luis Gonzalez's base hit gave the Diamondbacks a world championship.
Drawn in infield, jammer,
cutter.
Oh, well.
That one's pulled hard toward first on one hop to LaRoche. And one away here in the third. So Benson has had a fairly easy time through the first 8 hitters. And that'll bring Cole Hamels to the plate.
Yeah, both these guys are mowing down the lineups. And the Diamondbacks had the day off yesterday. They're well rested. Cardinals beat them 2 out of 3 earlier this week.
Well, and you talked about their bullpen, which who knows what we're going to see later on in the ball game, but they have blown the last 6 games.
Oof.
Have blown saves in each of the last 6.
Ouch.
As Hamels works the count in his favor, 2-0. Chris Benson has never won more than 12 games during his career, despite all of the accolades that people throw on him when he was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He last pitched extensively in the big leagues in 2006 with the Orioles when he won 11 games. And that one's toward left center field. On the run is Gillespie. It's over his head and it's rolling to the wall. And Cole Hamels will pull into second base with his first double of the year.
And his 8th in his career. He doesn't have any homers. He doesn't have any triples. But he has 8 doubles.
That ball really carried well out there.
It will carry in this yard. That's why you think they're going to hit some homers eventually, even though it's a little chillier in the Russo. But they're going to play him really shallow out there. Left fielder Gillespie was very shallow, and they had Young shaded over towards left center. And he popped that one pretty well.
This is a fair ballpark power-wise all the way around.
It's fair dimensions-wise, but it jumps. You know, the altitude is very favorable here to hitters. Thin air.
Deepest part of the park is in left center and right center, 413, and they've got a 25-foot home run wall in center. It's a great batter's eye. Here's Victorino with one away, and Shane takes a curveball for a strike. That curve used to be Benson's best pitch. And it used to be his out pitch, along with a fastball that was in the mid-90s.
And he had a really good sinker. That fastball was heavy.
Towards center field, slicing. Young on the run. It's over his head, and it carries to the wall. Hamels will cruise in with the game's first run. Victorino heading to third. He's going to get there sliding. Good recognition by Shane. He has given the Phillies a 1-0 lead.
There's another example of the way it jumps in this place, too. Young, who plays here, thought he had a shot at it. He thought he had it lined up, and then it was gone. As Tom mentioned, that's really good recognition by Victorino. He has a play in front of him. He could see that cutoff man was going to be overthrown then. Those, whatever they are, Phillies fans. There it is, a fastball a little bit in, and he slices it. And Young can't get to it with the way it took off. Now, when he gets near second, right here he slows down, but then he sees the cutoff man. The throw is going to be at a point where even if he catches it, he's not going to be able to get anything on the throw. So he moves to third base. Good job.
Victorino, who last year recorded a quadruple double. Double digits in doubles, home runs, triples, stolen bases. Has his second triple of the year.
They're going to play the infield back, too. You can get a run with a ground ball here.
No balls and 1 strike to count to Polanco. Flied out to right his first time up. And a breaking ball swung on and missed. It's 0-2.
It's a perfect guy to have up in this situation because you figure he's not going to strike out. And that was one of the weaker swings you'll ever see Polanco take as he chased that slider.
Polanco has good numbers against Benson for his career. 6 hits and 12 at bats. And he lays off. And it's 1-2. was thinking about what you said about how well Dobbs played last night in place of Polanco, and how fortunate the Phillies have been with Castro's offense and with Dobbs doing what he did last night for Polanco.
Yeah.
And Polanco's down on strikes. His bat rolls out to the feet of Reynolds, and there are 2 away.
One guy you want up in that spot that you don't think will strike out just did. You wonder if that elbow is bothering him, because he had some funky swings at Benson. Here he goes away from him with another slider. Those were 2 really good breaking balls that he threw him, but you know, Polanco's the kind of guy that hits those.
Well, the bat boy retrieves the bat. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. And here's Chase Utley, who went after a high pitch his first time up. He's got Victorino on 3rd. The Phils taking the early lead. Chase is 2nd in the league in home runs with 6. In fact, he's tied with Albert Pujols. Matt Kemp leads the way with 7 homers. And that one is toward right center field. On the run is Upton, and he reaches up at the last moment and makes the grab. I'm telling you, the ball is really jumping out toward the gaps here at Chase Field. And Shane Victorino's at bat, and his legs really showed what speed can do. He gave the Phils a 1-0 lead. Go to Southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. And buy Suzuki and the amazing Kizashi Sports Sedan. Oh, here at Chase Field, a place that opened in 1998. The beautiful video board out in straightaway center field, which is as clear as day. We begin the bottom of the 3rd. Chris Snyder leads things off for the Diamondbacks. He's the number 8 hitter. And Cole Hamels working with a 1-0 lead. Snyder overall hitting .257, a home run and 7 runs batted in. He had a rough year last year. He hit only .200 with 6 homers.
Well, the guy they really like is Miguel Montero as far as their catching goes, and he hurt his knee, had to have surgery, and is gone for a while. Montero came on last year to be a heck of a player for this team.
1-1 the count to Snyder. Snyder's low, 2-1.
Snyder's one of those big guys, time you can pitch to him. You know, he's dangerous. He can hit the ball in the ballpark and make a mistake, but he's got a lot of holes.
That one is to center field. It's well hit. Victorino out to the deepest part of this ballpark with plenty of room. And he makes the catch. He was reaching out for the fence, but the fence was probably 7 or 8 feet behind him.
He didn't even hit the warning track yet. Looked like they're laughing when they saw this. They're going, what are you doing? You know, what are you putting your hand out for when you haven't even hit the warning track yet? We see it. His teammates are not going to let him get away with that. Watch this. Here he goes. See, he's not at the warning track yet. He puts his hand up. Now, when you get on the warning track and you get a little deeper on it, that's when the hand goes up normally.
Here is Chris Benson with one away, and he takes one at the knees for a strike. Well, Jason Worth was riding Shane Victorino the other day when Shane made that grab in center field at Turner Field. And Jason said, you know, Shane, most people could have just reached up and caught that one, but you needed to jump.
What's so funny about that? I don't see the humor in that.
Well, you wouldn't.
That is a great line.
And Jason was the first person chiding Shane right there as he went back looking for the fence. I'm even sure Ben Francisco, as quiet as he is, probably said something to Shane.
Have to.
On the hands of Benson, easy play for Howard. 2 outs here in the third. Here's the catch.
Here it is.
I don't know if somebody could have just reached up and grabbed that one. Even somebody as tall as Jason.
Yeah, well, Jason would have been a little easier. Wouldn't have been quite. Put it this way, wouldn't have been quite as spectacular.
I still don't think we have seen a game like that one where the Phillies played such good defense. I mean, that was one to remember.
Yeah, Roy Halladay appreciated it.
2 outs, top of the order. Kelly Johnson, who grounded out his first time up, stands in. A curve from Hamels, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Johnson. Kelly Johnson 2 years ago had a solid year for the Braves. He had 287 with 12 home runs. But he really fell into a big slump last season for Atlanta.
Started out as a left fielder for them. The guy they thought could swing the bat. They really didn't think of him as a second baseman. To his credit, he played there a number of years, and he was okay. You know, he wasn't a great defensive second baseman, but he sure could swing the bat.
That one is on the inside corner for strike 2, 2-2.
Another good located fastball for Hamels. Well located.
And he came back with a changeup that was inside, 3-2. Stephen Drew waits on deck. And a good pitch. Johnson's down on strikes. A changeup on the inside part of the plate. Back-to-back change of speeds from Cole Hamels. He has 4 strikeouts through 3. Phils lead it 1-0. Series between the Phillies and the St. Louis Cardinals. That first game is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night, and the series wraps up with a Citizens Bank Business Person Special on Thursday, May 6th at 1:05. Don't forget, you can log on anytime at Phillies.com and make your purchase Get some seats for all 4 of those ball games for the Cardinals and Albert Pujols. Ryan Howard leads it off here in the top of the 4th as Gary Matthews joins us. Phillies lead it 1-0 thanks to an RBI triple by Shane Victorino. Howard flied out to center his first time up, so he's 0 for 1. And the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. On the hands, and it's over the Diamondbacks dugout. 1-2 the count. Well, Sarge, last night you got a chance to be in the booth for all 9 innings because Wheels was over doing radio, filling in for Scott Fransky. And great news from Philadelphia. Scott and his wife Lori welcomed their first child yesterday. August Fransky was born late last night, 7 pounds plus, and I understand mom and baby are doing fine.
Well, we'll say one thing, Scott, that will change your life. Trust me on that.
We just hope you slept well leading up to this, just so you know.
There may not be getting much more sleep after this, for sure.
Well, great name, August Fransky, and we understand that he'll go by the name of Gus.
Oh, well, that sounds pretty good, and can't wait to see him, and hope Lori's doing well.
Yeah, we send our best out to both Scott, Lori, and Gus, and hope that we get a chance to see the baby real soon, and hope that mom's resting comfortably. So make sure Scott takes care of everything that Lori needs, right, Sarge?
That's right.
Howard down on strikes. It was after a changeup. That's the 4th strikeout for Benson. 1 away. Meanwhile, while the Phils are trying to solve Chris Benson, he's just throwing 1 strike after another.
Yeah, a little off-speed pitch there. You can see Ryan out in front of that. And Benson's been starting the hitters off with off-speed pitches. He did that to Victorino. Starting soft, then finishing up hard.
Well, here's Jason Worth, who takes a fastball upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. Jason grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Phillies have already won 10 games here in the month of April. Last year, they won 11 games. And Charlie's team at that point was feeling pretty good about themselves. But they also know that by winning 10 through the first 15, they've got a chance to really stretch their lead in the division early in April, but also reestablish themselves, if they haven't already, as the team to beat in the National League. I mean, this is a good start for a team that's won back-to-back National League pennants.
Yeah, I agree with that. And no question, though, they are the team to beat. And the one thing about this team, they don't panic. They stick together, they win and lose as a team. But more importantly, it doesn't matter who drives in the winning run or the pitcher gets the winning game or he's the winner. They just want to win as a team. And when you're looking at it that way, it makes things so much easier. As you take a look there at Holiday and Carlos Ruiz.
Kyle Kendrick, who pitched well the other night in a game the Phillies had but wound up losing. Roy Halladay's won 4 of the 10 games so far for the Phils. And that was a hanger that Benson just got away with, and the count remains 2-2.
Yeah, that's a good swing.
Well, the Phillies have done all of this, Sarge, without really Jimmy Rollins since the first road trip. Juan Castro has done such a good job filling in, and that's what you're talking about. Just winning games.
Winning games, and Castro filling in, getting hits. Doesn't have a strong arm, but he gets rid of the ball quickly.
Well, who knows what the last part of April is going to have in store for the Phillies, but as we said, winning 10 through the first 15. It's a good start.
Oh, it's a great start. A couple of games they let get away. It could have even been better, but that's baseball.
Outside and high, 3-2 the count to Jason. There's Jimmy, who's looking like he's having some fun with Shane Victorino. He looked like he was moving around a lot better today, and that's a good sign. I think they're probably talking about, you know, the wall and where Victorino went back looking for the wall and that pop-up, you know.
Getting back, maybe seeing and what you do too, and he did that. He started feeling to see exactly where he was without looking down or looking at the fence. That's what an outfielder is supposed to do, get back and feel for the fence.
10th pitch of the at-bat, and it's a broken bat for Worth. So 57 pitches so far for Benson. And there's just one out here in the top of the 4th. Cole Hamels, who threw 3 innings, has struck out 4 and has allowed just one base runner. Boy, he's got an intense look on his face, and nobody's around him right now as he's working on that one hitter, Sarge.
Most of the pitchers seem to get by themselves.
That one's in the air to right center field. That's pretty well hit. Young going back into the alleyway. Does he have room? He does. At the track, and he dropped it. No, they're saying it's a live ball. Worth is on the run, and he's heading to third. The throw comes in. They're going to wave him home, and Jason Worth is going to get across home plate standing. And the Diamondbacks are sure to argue that that ball came loose when Chris Young was trying to take the ball out of his glove. Dale Scott doesn't think so. Right now, the Phils have a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, well, from his position, Dale Scott, with his back against, well, look at him explaining that. Now, the fielder there is going to have the ball, and it's going to hit his glove. Well, he does catch it. He was taking it out, but from the position of Scott, he wasn't able to see that. He probably thought it just bounced out of his glove. But yes, that is a catch. That's a catch right there. Okay, he's taking it out, and then he says no catch. But I'll give Jason Worth credit for running from the get-go right out of the box. As you see him catches the ball, you don't take it for granted. Jason kept running after he saw the ball down. He kept going. Sam Palazzo did a great job, brought him all the way to home plate.
Well, that's going to be the second run of the game for the Phillies. They have not scored it yet because I think they're waiting to see how this argument goes through. Now, we had a play last year, a similar play at Citizens Bank Park. I think it was Matt Diaz of the Braves who did not take the ball out of his hands after catching a line drive, and it dropped, and they ruled it a live ball.
There it goes again. Now Jason's looking at it. He is running. He's running. Now he hits it. Now watch him pick it up again. And he does. And now he's out. He's sprinting to home plate right now. Hits the bag. Not even looking back as he gets across home plate without a slide.
Well, Sarge, you are an outfielder, and you know the rules better than I do. We looked at that replay. He caught it. Now, I'm wondering if Dale Scott is telling A.J. Hinch that Chris Young has to then reach in and show that he has control before getting the ball back in. I mean, it's an out recorded, but you know, this is something that A.J. Hinch, I don't think, is getting the explanation that he wants.
No, I feel after you catch the ball, now take this out. Again, you see where Dale Scott is there in your picture. Now he's looking. He should be able to, well, he's calling no catch, and it does happen that quick where it hit his glove, but obviously it was a catch. Now here it is again. Take a look at it. Bam, that's a catch.
Right, and then right there, what he's trying to get out of his glove is when he drops it. And I just remember that play last year where I think it was Matt Diaz where he went into the fence and then dropped the ball as he went into the fence, and we got the explanation the next day that the player has to reach in, grab the ball in order to be a final play. I don't know if that's exactly what Dale Scott's going over right now with A.J. Hinch or not.
He absolutely is, but in all fairness, I've done the same thing. I did that against Dave Kingman in Atlanta. I caught the ball going over the fence. Never had control. I caught it, start taking some steps. It was a third out, went to get the ball, and it dropped, and he called it out.
He called it out? Oh, he
absolutely.
Did. Okay.
You know, and the same thing might apply, too, on a double play where a fielder actually catches the ball, right?
The exchange.
Tries to change it, and they'll say, oh, no, he's out, he's out. Well, for me, that applies in the outfield.
Well, I think that Dale Scott is telling A.J. Hinch, and we're just, trying to deduce it here, that Young catches the ball, reaches in but never got the ball out of his glove, dropped it at that point, and that he has to make that clean break.
Well, I think that he's actually just asking whether or not, hey, he got it out of his hand.
Now, you knew he was going to be thrown out of this ball game. I am a little surprised, Sarge, that Dale Scott has not asked the other umpires for help, which is why I wondered if it's the similar play that we saw last year at Citizens Bank Park, where there has to be an exchange from glove to hand. Well, I think A.J. Hinch is saying, once you get some help.
And Dale is saying, hey, I saw the play all the way, so I don't need any help. And that's why he isn't gathering everyone together.
Yeah, Jerry Meals, who you just saw with the glasses, with his arms crossed at third base, and the first base umpire, Dan Iasonia. Dale Scott is the crew chief. The home plate umpire is Mark Wagner. And that's my theory, Sarge, is that it's the same play as last year, that it's sort of a continuation where he's got to be able to take the ball out of his glove. In all fairness, that's exactly what Dale Scott is saying, that he's got to control it, and he never controlled the ball. I agree with you, though. Right there, boom, he's got it.
That's a catch.
Now he puts the hand in, and the ball rolls right off his fingertips and drops in. And I think the rule is that you have to be able to pull it out, and it's a continuous play.
Yeah, and again, there goes Jason running. Never giving up. For you youngsters out there, you do the same thing until it's recorded it out.
Well, we will get an official scoring decision. It has to be an error on the center fielder.
Has to be an error.
And they have said it's an error to the center fielder, Chris Young. I think they were just waiting for the argument to be over with before they made an official call. So 2-0 Phillies on a strange play, as Ben Francisco is the hitter with one out here in the fourth. That is the fourth time that A.J. Hinch has been ejected from a game in less than a year as the manager of the Diamondbacks. So Kirk Gibson takes over as the manager for the D-backs. And it's 1-1 strike to Francisco.
A lot of fans will probably be saying, hey, why don't we have that replay, instant replay, and decide whether or not it's an out? But if you start doing that, boy, the games are going to get longer and longer. Though you feel that you want to get it right, there is some element with the umpire and being able to make those type of calls. And there are judgment a lot of times with the umpires, and I think that was more judgment with Dale Scott.
A liner toward left, and Francisco's aboard with his second hit of the night. So a one-out base runner with a run across the plate. It's not often that an umpire does not even ask for help. Hey, tomorrow morning on Sports Rise, they may talk about that play you just saw with Chris Young. Full highlights of tonight's ball game, plus meet Eagles first-round pick Brandon Graham. We'll let you know who the Birds selected on day 2. We know Nate Allen of South Florida was one of the guys they selected, and find out what's on tap for the Flyers in round 2. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Sports Rise tomorrow morning on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, here's Castro. Castro fly to left his first time up. And another toss over, and Francisco is back diving. That one is in the air, foul over the Phillies dugout, and it's no balls and 2 strikes to Castro.
Benson throwing a lot of high breaking balls, and those are the type of balls that have a tendency to go a long way. A lot easier to hit for a hitter. Breaking ball that's breaking but stays up in the zone. Almost seems like a basketball as a hitter as it comes up there when it hangs.
Inside.
Good pitch by Benson, just moving him off the plate.
That's a play that these guys are going to talk about. That play we just saw with Jason Worth for a while. But if they're an outfielder, they probably have been educated with a play like that, depending on what the rule is from Dale Scott. Fly ball to right. And this time the Diamondbacks are able to make the play and make the throw in. 2 away. And Francisco's back to first. What do you think, Sarge? Do you think the outfielders are going to go back with a different technique now after seeing that play?
You know what? All these guys catch the ball with one hand in the outfield. And it actually was a catch.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like he did not catch the ball. Didn't just hit his glove and fall on the ground.
Right. It was the exchange.
And not controlling the ball.
Correct.
I bet is what Dale Scott.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And the only reason I know that is because we saw it last year. And it was to the advantage of the Phillies again.
It's been called both ways.
And that one breaks over for a strike to Schneider. Hit the ball hard his first time up, but he was retired by Adam LaRoche. There's Dale Scott, the crew chief. I'm not sure if Chris Young or A.J. Hinch have heard the explanation that they want or wanted to hear, but his call is final. And to his credit, when you watch that replay, he was getting himself into a good angle to see that play. He was moving off to the right to see that play a little bit better. And, Young was facing him. So Dale Scott saw the play and he called it right away. It wasn't, a delayed call.
And that's how quick it happens.
Pop up. Straightaway center. Young coming on. Drew going out. It's Young who makes the call, and he makes the catch, and he hangs onto it, and he glances over at Dale Scott as he runs in. Well, Jason Worth scored the run in this inning on an error by Chris Young. There's the play. 2 hands, kids, and run everything out, as Jason Worth showed. Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. Buy Xfinity from Comcast, proud partner of the Phillies. And buy the Quality Plus 4 dealers. Last of the 4th inning here in Phoenix. The Phillies lead it 2-0. I mentioned that the altitude is somewhat, the air is very thin here, so the ball does travel. You played here in Arizona, didn't you, Sarge?
The ball does travel here, playing outdoors at Municipal Stadium for the Phoenix Giants, which was on East Van Buren Street. It's very hot here playing those games with the ball carries, and we've seen some balls carried tonight.
Yeah, in fact, that one inning when the Phillies scored their first run, the 3rd, there were a couple balls, the one that Cole Hamels hit, another one that Shane Victorino hit, that carried very well. We start the bottom of the 4th. Cole Hamels has a 2-0 lead, and Stephen Drew swings at the first pitch. And Ben Francisco makes the play.
One-handed grab.
So things haven't really changed.
Well, you catch the ball on how you feel comfortable, for sure. I mean, but it won't stop Jamie Moyer from yelling and saying 2 hands, 2 hands.
Now with 1 out, it brings Justin Upton to the plate. He grounded it short his first time up. Upton is 0 for 12 on this homestand for the Diamondbacks. You know, we said they score runs. They do. In fact, they're 4th in the league in runs scored. But they got out to a torrid pace with the number of runs that they scored to begin the season. And with guys like Upton, who have struggled, and Chris Young, who have struggled of late, you know, their offense is still there, but it's not as potent as it was the first 10 days of the season.
And young players will struggle.
Broke his bat. Looper over the head of Castro, and it's hit to left. And Upton's aboard with a base hit. And a 1-out single. Hey, the Florida Marlins will make their second trip to Philadelphia on Tuesday, June 8th at 7:05. It's the beginning of a 3-game series. All 3 ball games begin at 7:05. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Marlins began play tonight in second place behind the Phillies. They're the National League East, a game and a half back. Marlins and the Rockies were snowed out in Denver. As Reynolds pops one foul, and it's 0-1. Reynolds struck out his first time up. Sarge, I threw this out there before. That strikeout for Reynolds was his 574th of his career. And I was looking at some numbers. Joe DiMaggio struck out 369 times in over 1,700 games during his career. So obviously less than Reynolds. I'll throw out a name to you, 2 names that you remember quite well. Bill Madlock struck out 510 times, 63 times less than Reynolds in 1,800 at-bats.
Wow.
A 1 pitch to him. In the air to left field. We said, though, he is strong. That is a towering shot, and that one is gone. Oh, Kirk Gibson to your left there. He's managing tonight with A.J. Hinch being ejected. He's seen that before. That's the 6th homer of the year for Reynolds. And this ball game's all tied up at 2 apiece.
Well, one thing he will do, he will swing at fastball after fastball. This is high in the zone. See you later. That ball, you don't get it up over those hands. He's swinging at it. He's that strong. The ball was awful high. Look how far it carried. Another indication how far the ball carries at this ballpark.
Well, here's Adam LaRoche with one away, and he rips one down the right field line foul. I guess what the moral of the story is, yes, he does strike out a lot, but he does hit some home runs.
Yeah, it's not enough of contact. And you mentioned before Bill Madlock. Bill, more of a contact type hitter. Reynolds, a different hitter simply because he does try and hit the ball out of the ballpark. You don't have to worry, though, about him ever leading the league and hitting for an average. He'll get better, but when you strike out that much over the course of your career, and he's been striking out even in the minor leagues, you're going to continue to do that.
Well, that's his 95th career home run, his 6th this season. And he's tied this ball game up at 2 apiece. So 2-2 here in the bottom of the 4th. You know, we bring up those numbers too, not to spotlight Reynolds' deficiencies because he can hit home runs, but also to really spotlight how good DiMaggio, Madlock, and guys like Tony Gwynn really were. But this is a guy who's going to be a fixture for them as they just signed him to a 3-year contract extension in March. And he's got some power.
Well, you got to have a guy on your team that has power.
Line drive, and that's a foul ball. Just foul.
You know, when you have them, they get you those quick runs. The same way Reynolds did, the same way that Ryan Howard does. don't feel that you're ever out of a ball game. That wasn't the spot where Cole Hamels was trying to get to. But power hitters who get it in that zone, in their power zone, especially the guys that stay on the fastball, they become pretty good hitters.
2-2 the count to LaRoche. And a fastball inside at 93, and it's 3-2. Chris Young waits on deck. And that one is deep, and that's not coming back. That's going to be a long home run for Adam LaRoche. A solo shot, and the Diamondbacks have taken the lead. It's 3-2 here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And again, that pitch was left up, and Adam LaRoche made Cole pay.
We'll see exactly where it was, whether or not it was a breaking ball. And LaRoche, a left-handed hitter, usually doesn't stay on the breaking ball. See exactly where it is. I see that was more either a changeup or the breaking ball, but whatever one it was, it stayed up in the zone. Getting high fives. Well, look at the position, though. Look at his head. Look where it's right down there on the ball, hitting against his front foot. That's classic. Doesn't matter where you start. All the good hitters, when they get ready to make contact to the ball, will be in that position, left-handed or right-handed.
First home run of the year for Adam LaRoche. He goes back-to-back with Mark Reynolds. So Cole now trails it 3-2 here in the bottom of the fourth inning. And that'll bring Chris Young to the plate. Young singled his only time up, so he's 1 for 1. Each team now with 4 hits. And the first pitch is over for a strike. That's a floater over the head of Castro. Another base hit for the Diamondbacks. That's 4 hits in a row. And still one man down here in the fourth.
I tell you, that was not a bad breaking ball. The only problem with that one is the location of where he threw it. It looked to be down, had some good break on it. But when you're throwing that pitch, for me, you want to start it near the inside to break in on him. Now watch where this is. See how it comes right back to his swing. Easier for that right-hander to hit the ball.
Gillespie fouls that one off, and it's 0-1. He struck out his first time up. It was amazing, Sarge, how a game changes so quickly. I mean, the Phillies had been leading at 2-0. Hamels had been cruising. He had not allowed a run in his last 11 innings, counting his start. Or had only allowed the 2 runs in his last 11 innings, counting the start against the Marlins. And boom. He gives up his 4th and 5th homers of the season.
And he is around the plate too, Tom. And see the split, how many pitches he's thrown, 21 strikes, 20 balls. But he is around the plate. But again, you can't leave it over the plate. You got to pitch more or less to the corners, and especially to the power guys.
And there's another strikeout as Gillespie's down swinging. So 2 away. That's the 5th strikeout for Hamels. And the number 8 batter, Chris Snyder, is due up. Snyder fly to center his first time to the plate. And that one is deep. He pulls it for another home run. A 2-run shot. It's the 3rd home run of the inning given up by Cole Hamels. And it's now 5-2 Arizona. That was a bullet. Cole had given up 3 home runs this season in 18 2/3, and he gives up 3 here in the bottom of the 4th. Second home run of the year for Snyder.
Look where it is again. Out over the plate. Into his swing. Snyder has an open swing, an open stance. And for me, this shouldn't happen, especially with your 8th hitter that's up there. You got your pitcher that's coming up next. You want a little better location than that on that 8th hitter.
Well, Rich Doobie and Charlie Manuel talk about that all the time, that in the National League, the 8th and 9th hitters are so important for these National League pitchers to be successful. 0-2 the count to Benson. And a chopper back toward the middle. Castro waits on it. And he throws over to first in time to get Benson. And the inning is finally over. But the Diamondbacks sent 8 men to the plate. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning, they hit 3 home runs. It began with Mark Reynolds' 2-run bomb. Then Adam LaRoche and finally Chris Snyder. And the Diamondbacks lead it 5-2. % off the entire purchase coupon for the Majestic Clubhouse store, exclusive online sweepstakes, and much more. Become a founding member. For details, see FightandPhilsFanClub.com. That's FightandPhilsFanClub.com. You also get a subscription to MLB Game Day Audio, which is a great tool to have. We go to the 5th. Phillies trail at 5-2. Let's see if they get something rolling against Chris Benson. As Cole Hamels leads things off, he doubled and scored his first time up. And Benson starts him off with a pitch on the inside corner. It's 0-1. And 2 the count to Hamels. And he chops one right past Davey Lopes in the first base coach's box. Chris Benson's now 35 years old. As we mentioned, he was originally a first-round pick, the #1 pick overall out of Clemson. And that was back in 1996. And he pitched for the Phillies in their farm system in 2008. He wound up going 1-4 with Lehigh Valley, an ERA of 5.52. Phillies signed him during spring training as he was coming back from rotator cuff surgery, in which he missed the entire 2007 season. He never made it up to the big leagues. And he has said this week that, his fastball, which is right now topping off at 91 miles an hour, he still thinks there's more left in that shoulder, and as the weather gets warmer, he'll get it up to 94, which I think would be quite impressive if you're Chris Benson. Chopper left side, flagged down by Reynolds. He has to hurry his throw, and he does to get Hamels one away.
Boy, what a nice play. Now here's the first of 3 home runs there. Reynolds connect. Look how far that ball goes. LaRoche does the same thing there on a 3-2 count. First pitch, and there's another home run by Snyder. That's your 8th hitter. And again, that ball with an open stance, him going toward the plate, almost right into his swing.
Which is what Cole was not doing the first 3.
That's right. Being able to hit his spots a little bit better.
Here's Victorino, who tripled his last time up. And Benson fires a strike, and it's 0-1. That triple for Shane is 2nd of the year. Last time we saw Cole sitting on the bench there like that, and the Phillies had a 2-0 lead, and he had this intense look on his face. And now he's probably wondering if he can get those pitches back. And as you said, just try to get that command back as this game moves on.
Well, very important, though, for him to just keep it right where it is, and hopefully the offense can start to tack on a few runs. They can score some runs off of Benson. He's been hanging that breaking ball, and he's hittable. Does have movement on his 2-seamer. He's pitching more.
Oh, and Victorino is down on strikes for the 2nd time. He went down on the similar pitches first time up, and there are 2 away. Hey, Scott's Turf Builder delivers a lush lawn from the roots up. Hurry in to get your free Scott's MLB fan guide exclusively at Lowe's. 2 away. Here's Placido Polanco. Polanco is 0 for 2. He's flied to right. He's also struck out. He struck out with Victorino on 3rd his last time up.
Well, Benson before was more of a power pitcher, meaning coming right at you with fastball, and now he's doing a lot more pitching, trying to hit the corners, keep that ball in play, up and down in the zone. Borderline. And after the arm injury, it's going to take some time for him to build it back up. But he's always been a guy that would come at you.
Well, last year he pitched in the Rangers organization. He wound up coming up to the big leagues for just 8 games, but had an ERA of 8.46 for Texas. Down in AAA, he was 4-5 with an ERA of 5.24. So not much different than what he did in 2008 in the Phillies organization. That one's back toward the middle, a base hit for Polanco. And there's one of those hangers that Sarge was talking about.
Yeah, ball up in the zone, and give credit, though. Polanco stayed right on it, not trying to do too much with it. He's getting a lot of breaking balls, and you know, after you get hit, you get tested on breaking balls to see whether or not you're going to stay in there. When you get hit in the elbow, you have a tendency to bail out of there, and for good reason. That ball hurts. And word gets around, pitchers start throwing you a little bit more breaking balls, testing you with fastballs inside. Good job by Polanco.
Chase is 0 for 2. He has struck out and flied to right. Batting here with 2 away in the top of the 5th. Phillies down by 3, and he rips one right at LaRoche. Oh boy, that one spun LaRoche's cap, but he makes the grab, and the inning is over. Well, Polanco gets a 2-out single. He's stranded at first. He had a pretty good look at this defensive play by Adam LaRoche to finish up the top of the 5th. receptacles on the concourses and at the gates of Citizens Bank Park. The next time you go to throw away that plastic beverage bottle, take a look around. There's sure to be a recycling container nearby. With Green Cents at Citizens Bank, get paid 10 cents every time you pay without paper. Up to $120 per year. Visit citizensbank.com/Green Cents for details. Well, that youngster wearing the day jersey for the Phillies. Yeah, one the Phillies wear during afternoon home games. Like father, like son.
Enjoying a little popcorn.
Out here in the desert, we begin the bottom of the fifth as Kelly Johnson takes a curve from Hamels. For a strike, it's 0-1. Johnson was the only Diamondback that did not get up in the fourth. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's also struck out. And back-to-back curves, and it's 1-1. Off the end of the bat. That's a roller foul. Sarge, you said something interesting earlier about Hamels in that fourth inning after allowing the 5 runs that he needed to just keep it at a 3-run deficit, that it's so important now, to keep the Phillies within reach. As Johnson floats that one down the right field line. Worth on the run. He slides and it's off his glove. A foul ball. And he may have slid right past that one. That came back, I think, more than anybody thought.
Yeah, it looked like it did. The ball was really going toward the line and then almost came straight down. He goes into a slide. Actually, it just came down almost right on him. Probably lost exactly where it was. They were able to get that glove open to be able to close it.
So Jason will go back to his spot. Kelly Johnson gets new life. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. And that one's in the air to left field. Pretty well hit. Francisco going back to the warning track, to the wall. He jumps, and it's gone.
Wow.
Opposite field home run for Kelly Johnson. His 4th of the year, and it's now 6-2 Diamondbacks.
Well, it's almost as if they've turned on the Jets when the balls are hit up in the air. They keep carrying and carrying up into the stands. That ball was first hit. Didn't think it had a chance. Could just about tell Francisco going back, and getting to the wall. Here it is again, out over the plate. Notice the ball is up a little as it gets into about that second or third row.
So 4 home runs now hit by the Diamondbacks. And here's Stephen Drew, and this is what we're talking about, minimizing the damage as Rich Doobie's trying to get the phone to work. And he finally got it to go. And somebody's going to get up and start loosening for the Phillies. But minimizing the damage, Sarge, is key at this point. I mean, it's still just a 4-run deficit.
Yeah, well, you remember in yesterday's ball game, things were starting to go a little bit away. And Jamie Moore, you kind of took charge, said, hey, whoa, hey, guys, I got this. Take it easy. Just relax, and went on and pitched his game.
That one is toward left center field. Victorino and Francisco over into the alleyway, and it's Francisco who makes the catch. And there's one away. One of the other reasons why, Cole, his responsibility right now is to keep this at a 4-run deficit, is that bullpen, which is starting to get up now, Contreras takes his jacket off, they may be utilized tomorrow because Nelson Figueroa is scheduled to start. And Ruben Amaro even said the other day that he's concerned about how long Figueroa can pitch in tomorrow's ball game. He's getting a spot start for Jay Happ. As Justin Upton takes one low. 1 ball and no strikes.
Figueroa looking at this as an opportunity to show the staff what he can do. And he's a guy that will be around the plate, breaking balls, fastballs. But you're right, you don't expect for him to go 7, 8 innings and just coming back. If he went 6 innings, I think you would consider that great. Charlie would probably be very happy if he was able to go 5 innings and pitch good ball.
Line drive, another base hit. Upton is aboard for the second time. And that's now 8 hits for the Diamondbacks. And there's one out here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's Contreras, who's up firing right now in the pen for the Phillies.
Still a manageable game. Just needs to make his pitches, minimize here the damage that's already been done. Score 6-2 right now.
Reynolds in the air to right field. Playable for Jason Worth. Upton went halfway, and he'll go back to first.
Even though Reynolds swung at that pitch is down. A little more difficult pitch to hit when it's inside. When you get it up and it's out over the plate, they're going to hit the ball and hit the ball hard. Cole not getting a lot of ground balls, getting more fly ball outs. And with the outs, though, and when they catch it right, it just carries and carries. Good hitting background, by the way, at this ballpark. Great for the hitters.
Yeah, we were talking about that before. That 25-foot wall, or the big green wall in center field, which has the yellow line 25 feet from the ground. Players talk about it all the time, how good that batter's eye is, because there's no real advertising signs or anything that cause you any problems to not be able to see the ball.
So the better you see it, the easier, and you're right about it. All the green that you have back there, and it just makes it so much easier to hit.
Guys used to talk about places like Olympic Stadium where the batter's eye was not very good.
It was awful.
A curveball that drops in for strike 2. So 0-2 the count to LaRoche, who homered his last time up. He's 1 for 2. And another breaking ball lifted toward left, playable for Francisco. He moves over to his left, makes the catch, and the inning is over. But the Diamondbacks, they add another one with their 4th home run of the night against Cole Hamels. This one off the bat of Kelly Johnson. We've played 5. It's the D-backs 6, the Phillies 2. This season, his bat has put on a display above and beyond all expectations. The always consistent hitting third baseman near the top of the lineup has delivered early and often for this already loaded cast. His offense was never in doubt, and his defense has been reliable as well. The welcomed return of Polanco is brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Top of the 6th inning, Ryan Howard will start things off against right-hander Chris Benson with the Phillies in a 4-run hole. They trail at 6-2. An excuse-me swing by Howard. And Benson throws one pitch, gets one set aside here in the 6th.
Boy, been there, done that. That is what an awful feeling that is. You wait to get back up as you see Ryan Howard just shakes his head. And that's a pitch that just fooled him. Tried to start the bat. Watch, he starts it and then just stops, and then there it goes. You would just hope that you could miss the ball at that time.
And as you said, every hitter's done that. But I think it's interesting what you're saying, that you sit there and you wait for that opportunity to get up there again, and you see one pitch and you barely hit it 60 feet.
The only thing that's worse is if you have a runner on third base.
And with one man down, here's Jason Worth. Jason scored on an error, a 4-base error by the center fielder Chris Young his last time up, and that one he whacks towards center field for a base hit. So that's his first hit of the night. Phillies have a base runner here in the 6th.
There's an indication that good hitters will get jammed. Jason getting jammed on that, but strong enough to fight that ball into center field.
Well, Ben Francisco's 2 for 2. He's got 2 singles.
Seeing it pretty good. They can still get back in this.
Absolutely.
A home run here, make it 6-4. They got guys capable of being able to do just that.
Schneider blocks that one. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Now looking at Jason Worth over at first base, it makes me look at the numbers the Phillies have had stealing bases this year. They've only stolen 3 bases. I asked Davey Lopes about it yesterday. He said, I don't know, we just haven't gotten guys running yet. We haven't had a lot of opportunities. He said, guys just got to get into the mode of stealing bags and feel comfortable against stealing bags.
Yeah, that's a good point. The opportunities for me just has not been there. You see Davey with his watch. But they'll continue to play their game, meaning that when they start running, they'll run, and doesn't matter about the lead. Obviously, they wouldn't run in the 9th inning.
Well, Jason goes. That pitch is lined toward left field. Gillespie on the run, and he makes the grab. So Jason has to retreat back to first.
Yeah, that's just bad luck right there. Francisco putting good wood on the ball again. We talk about this guy. He could be playing for someone else probably and starting. Hasn't had a start in a while, and he's hit 3 balls there on the button.
Let's see if the Phillies can keep this inning alive with Juan Castro. 0 for 2 tonight. He's flied out twice. One's to left, one's to right. 6-2 Diamondbacks. They have hit 4 home runs in the last 2 innings. Little slide step from Benson. And the count, no balls and 1 strike.
Jason Worth running when Francisco was up there. He had a good jump. That's what you want. Be able to steal a base here and then another base hit. You score a run. Just don't sit back and continue to be on first base.
Well, that's the other thing that Davey Lopes talked about. He said that the guys haven't gotten very good jumps.
Yeah.
So they've pulled up and not tried to steal bags.
But if you don't get the good jump, then you just don't go. You just don't run just to be running.
Opposite way for Castro. On the run is Upton over toward the line, and he tracks it down for the final out here in the 6th inning. Well, Jason Worth's 1-out single is wasted by the Phils. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Middle of the 6th. It's the Diamondbacks 6, the Phillies 2. Lucas Field. And Baxter, who's the mascot for the Diamondbacks, entertaining the crowd in between innings as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Diamondbacks lead it 6-2. Diamondbacks have hit 4 home runs in the last 2 innings. Cole Hamels goes back to work, trailing it by just 4. And he delivers a fastball just off the outside corner. We mentioned as we began play tonight, the Phillies with 10 wins led the East, a game and a half ahead of the Marlins. Cardinals lead the Central with 10 wins. And the San Diego Padres lead the West, with the Diamondbacks pulling up the rear at 6-9. And a good off-speed pitch, and it's 2-1. And I don't think it's a surprise that the Diamondbacks are struggling right now with just 6 wins. I guess the big surprise would be that San Diego is leading the National League West.
See, we don't get a chance to see them in spring training. And supposedly the pitching that they have is as good as anyone.
Good fastball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, their pitching, their ERA is the best in the National League, whereas the Diamondbacks have one of the worst ERAs in the National League at 5.31.
Well, there you go. When you start giving up those type of runs, very difficult to win. I like that pitch there by Hamels, coming inside, just moving the feet of the hitters. You don't want hitters to be able to feel so comfortable at the plate.
He just got a piece of it, and it remains 3-2. Young is 2 for 2 tonight. He has singled twice. And here comes the 3-2 pitch from Hamels. On the hands of pop-up, foul territory. Howard over toward the Phillies dugout, and he makes the basket catch right on top of the railing. That's another fantastic play by Howard, who had to find where he was and then take a step forward.
Well, you got to give him credit. He came over, ran over hard, sticking out the glove and keeping the hand right on a very difficult play, especially right there. The dugout you have right there, the railing, he comes over. The key to that play, getting over as quick as you can, showing off his soft hands. And, Jay, he's been playing good first base, good defensive first base this year so far.
Oh, 1 away, and here's Gillespie. And he takes a pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. Gillespie has struck out twice. Hamels has struck out 5 batters so far. And the Phillies bullpen is quiet right now. Cole is due to bat second in the top of the 7th inning. And he delivers another strike. So it's 1-2. There's Leo Rosales, who is loosening up for the Diamondbacks. Benson's gone 6, and Gillespie is down swinging for the 3rd time in this ball game. 6 strikeouts now for Hamels. Hey, Tuesday, May 4th at 7:05, the Phils will take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, that night, it's Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night. A Phillies cap free to all fans. Compliments to the good folks at Teva. Also, free asthma screenings through the 6th inning of that ball game. You can get on your computer, log on anytime at Phillies.com to purchase your tickets. And now with 2 away, Chris Snyder, the hitter. He's 1 for 2. Hit a 2-run home run his last time up. And he's also fly to center. And he takes a fastball high, 1-0.
I don't know if we've seen as many change-up.
I agree.
From Cole Hamels, and the balls that they were hitting seem to be more of the fastball type or maybe cutter type. Bread and butter, don't forget, is that change-up.
Well, there it is right there, and that's over for strike 1. Well, I thought the first 3 innings Cole had a really good fastball. But after that, he became the first pitcher since Brian Sanchez in July of 2007 to give up 4 home runs.
Pretty good location on a fastball on the outside part of the plate. Just missing the corners. Jamie Moore, you're doing a little talking. Rich Doobie keeping the chart. Pitches that have been pitched. Location.
And there's strike 2. 3-2.
Still got to be able to hit your pitch. Especially with the pitcher coming up next. It is 2 outs, so you just don't want to groove him a pitch. If he hits one, it's got to be your pitch.
There's Benson out of the on-deck circle. The count 3 balls and 2 strikes to Snyder. And he takes it high, ball 4. And Benson will hit with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. Not a bad walk, Sarge, because you got the pitcher spot to up.
Yeah, that was another fastball, and I thought for me again, because he can throw that changeup. He mentioned in his sleep. It'd be a bad time to have thrown that 3-2. But no damage done so far.
Benson takes a healthy swing and a miss, and the count is 0-1. He's grounded out twice, so he's made contact. Awkwardly his first time up, and then a slow roller his last time up. And he's behind. No balls and 2 strikes. 97 pitches now for Cole. With 2 away here in the bottom of the 6th. The Phillies won that World Championship. Cole was the MVP of the National League Championship Series and the World Series, and he's trying to get himself back into that kind of form. And it looked like through his first 3 starts, in particular his last one, that he had found that groove, and he's hit a little bit of a speed bump here tonight, allowing 6 runs in the 4th and 5th innings.
Well, they couldn't have won that World Series without him, for sure.
Well, he picks up another strikeout as he gets Benson looking to finish up this 6th inning. 7 strikeouts for Cole Hamels. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. His night may be done as we go to the 7th.
There in the 4th inning, they started flying out of here with all those home run balls. Chris Benson gave him a really solid 6 here tonight. That one goofy run, I guess we could talk about that in a little while. And there you see the 2-run home runs, and they hit 3 in that inning and 4 overall of Cole Hamels.
Yeah, Cole's night is probably done. Ross Float has come out into the on-deck circle, and he's going to pinch hit for Charlie Manuel. After After Brian Schneider bats here to begin the top of the 7th. The Phillies down 4, and you see Charlie saying, all right, let's go, guys. Let's get it going.
Yeah, because as you've mentioned earlier, Tom, these guys have had bullpen problems this year. So, you think, Benson is probably on a little bit of a short leash right now. Rosales was out there earlier.
Yeah, Benson's thrown 91 pitches so far. And Brian Schneider will start things off here in the top of the 7th. Schneider is 0 for 2. And he shows bunt, takes a pitch low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, Benson allowed the run in the 3rd inning on the triple by Shane Victorino, and then the unearned run in the 4th on the misplay in the exchange by Chris Young. And his offense put 6 runs on the board, 5 in the 4th and then 1 in the 5th. But the Phillies get the leadoff batter aboard here in the 7th. And that'll bring Ross Glow to the plate. Benson has mixed up his pitches tonight, but he's also left some up in the zone, as J.C. Romero is going to be the next pitcher for the Phillies. But he's been able to get away with it. He's had a pretty decent changeup tonight. Glow takes a pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. Glow had a pinch hit in last night's game. He's 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter. He has not started a ball game yet this year. And he lays off, and that's a pitch that a lot of guys haven't laid off of tonight. That changeup off the outside part of the plate, so he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, and he only throws it to the left-handed hitters.
There's Rosales, who continues to loosen in the bullpen. Benson, for the 2nd straight outing, has worked at least through 6. And he's begun the 7th here. And the Phillies have started the inning with a leadoff base hit by Brian Schneider. 2-1 the count to Glode. And Ross pulls it into right field. Another base hit. And the Phillies have the first 2 hitters aboard here in the 7th inning. And Ross Glode has back-to-back pinch hits. 1 last night and 1 here tonight.
He's amazing. That guy's really a good hitter. You mentioned, Tom, he hasn't started a game. Kind of in between. He's probably his best position's first base. And Ryan Howard doesn't sit. They're both left-handed hitters, so it's not like you're going to platoon them. Not platoon them, but it's not like you're going to play him against a tough left-hander. Because they're both hitting from the same side. So it's hard to find a spot for him to start right now.
Might get a chance to start at some point this weekend, but if not, it probably feels good for him to get a couple hits in these last 2 games. Well, Kirk Gibson is walking out to the mound. That may be it for Chris Benson. Phillies have 2 runners aboard with nobody out. And there is the call to the bullpen. It's not something that the Diamondbacks have liked to have done the last few games, because their bullpen has been banged around pretty good. So the Phillies have gotten into the Diamondbacks bullpen. 6+ innings from Chris Benson. His night is done. It's time for our AT&T call to the bullpen. We'll tell you about the new pitcher when we return. 8 hits, and the 2 runners on base are his responsibility. So back-to-back outings in which he's gone at least 6 innings. A little Nacho Libre in the stands tonight. Phillies fans who have ventured over here to Phoenix, and maybe these Flyers will get a chance to get one of those Stanley Cup flags once again. They've advanced to the semifinals of the Eastern Conference, and they are awaiting their next opponent. Probably the Washington Capitals.
They lost tonight.
They did lose.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I like to give you that hockey information. You know, I'm all over this stuff.
Well, here's Shane Victorino, who is batting against Leo Rosales. Rosales, a right-hander, delivers a pitch for a strike, and it's no balls and 1 strike. 28-year-old who is appearing in his 7th game. 1 win, no losses, an ERA of 2.70. He appeared in 33 games last year for the Diamondbacks.
Fastball, changeup type of pitcher. Throws pretty hard.
And that one's blocked by Snyder, and it's 1-1.
That was a changeup, and you know that's a pitch Victorino will struggle on. Like a lot of hitters don't like changeups. And Benson was probably through some of his better ones as Shane Victorino tonight. Struck him out a couple times.
Now, Victorino's got 2 runners aboard. He's got Gallote at first, Snyder at second, with nobody out here in the top of the 7th. And he delivers a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-2.
Playing Shane a little bit towards left center. Big gap in right center field for him if he could shoot one out that way. And you see how much room he has in right center field.
Chopper right side. Johnson waits on it, and he'll get the middle runner at second, so 1 away. Over to third goes Brian Schneider, and safe at first is Victorino. Put out goes 4-6. And that'll bring Placido Polanco to the plate. You know, we've talked about this Diamondbacks bullpen a little bit during the outset of our telecast. They've allowed 28 earned runs in their last 26 and a third. They do not have a lefty, but Mel Stottlemyre Jr., who you see there, he's the pitching coach for the Diamondbacks. They think that they have a couple of right-handers that can get the lefties out.
Well, this guy is one of them because of his changeup.
And the other one is Aaron Heilman.
Another guy with a changeup.
Here's Polanco, 1 for 3. And a toss over to first, and Victorino's back diving.
Victorino, you like to see him be able to go steal second, but you're down by 4 runs, and you just can't take any chances unless you know you're going to be safe.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit in the last inning. The Phillies haven't really been aggressive on the base paths this year, and Davey Lopes said they haven't really had a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, and they don't have the 1-2 at the top of the order in Rollins and Victorino necessarily, who run, because their ideal lineup is Rollins and Polanco.
So Jason Worth taken off before on a fly ball from Ben Francisco. And there's a chopper foul, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Charlie was in pretty good spirits today, despite the fact that the team made the flight from Atlanta, got in very early this morning. And he and everybody else was pleased the Phillies got out of there winning 2 of 3 against the Braves, particularly after they lost that first game.
And the way they lost it.
And a toss over to first, and Victorino's back. There's Jamie Moyer, who picked up the win in last night's game. Toward third base, fair ball. Reynolds backhands, throws off balance, dug out by LaRoche. A run scores. That's a heck of a play by Adam LaRoche off the play by Mark Reynolds. 2 away, and the Phils have cut this lead to 3. And Reynolds didn't even blink. He fielded that and threw basically in one motion.
He's just trying to throw it in the general direction of the first baseman. LaRoche is a very good defensive first baseman. We've seen so much of him over the years. And there's Reynolds. He's not a great thrower from over there, but you know, he figures he's got a guy. If I get it near the bag, he'll pick it for me, and that's what happened. That's a tremendous play by LaRoche. You got a pretty good hop too to pick, but still doesn't mean you're going to get it. Got those two guys earlier, how they will hit home runs.
Oh boy.
And they did. The other guy I was talking about was Snyder, who has all kinds of holes, but every once in a while he can pop one.
There Snyder hit a 2-run home run after Mark Reynolds hit a 2-run home run and Adam LaRoche hit a solo shot.
We've seen LaRoche hit a lot of home runs, just like he hit that one tonight.
Want to know the count to Chase Utley. Chase is 0 for 3. He has struck out. He's flied out, and he's lined to first.
How about that line drive?
Yeah, that was.
You talk about a ball that catches a fielder.
Right place, right time.
Oh. LaRoche, he just put his glove up and it went in. Thankfully for him, because I think he thought it was right at his face.
Yeah, if he hadn't been holding Polanco on.
Oh, man, that was hit hard. That was like crack thump. This guy's worrying about base runners too much with a big lead.
Chase is behind now. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the 7th.
Phillies are so overdue for one of these guys to pop one. And, you know, if he could do it now, all of a sudden you're in a 1-run game.
Yeah, they've got 42 innings since their last home run. And Jason Worth waiting behind Ryan Howard, who's on deck. Ryan's the guy that's kind of surprising that he hasn't gone long in the last few games. Slow roller foul. Davey Lopes will pick that one up. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. That's part of the good news, though, too, as we talked about during the Atlanta series. The Phillies have not hit a lot of home runs of late, but they still took 2 of 3 from the Braves because they had a great approach to a lot of the pitchers that they saw. Granted, they could have used a few more runs in that opener. And 2-2 the count.
Well, he loves that changeup with these left-handed hitters, one after another to Chase Utley.
Rosales has been a reliever all throughout his career in the minor leagues, and then up here with Arizona. In fact, he spent most of the last 2 years with Arizona. 27 games in 08 and 33 in 2009. 2-2 the count to Chase. Slow roller, foul. So Ryan Howard had that kind of a swing earlier against Benson on a breaking ball. That was a changeup from Rosales. There's Ryan, tossed that foul ball into the crowd.
There's a check swing, and it was almost behind him a little bit, and he doesn't know where it is. Snyder doesn't know where it is.
That one's in the air, deep down the right field line. It's going to hook foul.
Boy, he doesn't throw that many fastballs. And Utley was way out in front of it.
Here's Kirk Gibson to your right, who's managing tonight because A.J. Hinch was ejected from the ball game earlier.
Took him a long time to get thrown out, didn't it?
Well, Dale Scott was trying to explain what was going on.
That was tough to explain, even though technically he's right.
We saw that last year in a game at Citizens Bank Park. And Utley is down on strikes, and the inning is over. Chase a little out in front of that pitch, and Rosales picks up a strikeout in relief of Chris Benson. So the Phils score 1. We go to the bottom of the 7th, 6-3 Diamondbacks. Five managers in Diamondbacks history.
Well, you get the buzzer ready, because I wrote down 4 and I can't think of 5.
Oh, okay.
Buck Showalter.
That would be one. He was the first one. He was the one that made sure all the trees were aligned in spring training.
Yeah, and he put that path between home plate and the mound.
Right.
Bob Brenly.
Correct.
Bob Melvin.
Correct.
And, of course, A.J. Hinch, and I don't know who the 5th one was.
It's not Kirk Gibson, although he's managing tonight because A.J.'s been thrown out of the ballgame.
All right, who's your 5th one? Couldn't have been here very long.
He is in the National League right now as a bench coach. The great Al Padrique.
Oh, Al Padrique, I know who he is, but I think he managed a year here, didn't he?
I don't know, not even.
With that.
Yep.
He may have been an interim.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. And thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. Well, J.C. Romero makes his 2010 debut for the Phillies as he takes over for Cole Hamels. See what J.C. did last year. 21 ball games. No wins, no losses, an earned run average of 2.70. And it's got to feel good for J.C. to get out there and stretch that arm out in a major league ball game. Was activated from the disabled list yesterday with Jay Happ going on the DL. He had left elbow surgery during the offseason. And it's 3-0.
It's a guy who really helped him if he can come in and throw strikes. And chance he could be a little rusty.
I would think so. I was talking to Danis Baez about that today, just about not working often and how hard it is to stay sharp as a relief pitcher. And he said, that's why you throw every day if you can. Because you're trying to work on different things in the bullpen to remain sharp. He said his bullpen work could be just one day working on a curveball or working on a split. And JC, I'm sure, isn't even in that routine just yet. And it's 3-2 now to Johnson. Kelly Johnson is 1 for 3. He homered in the 5th, struck out and grounded out. See that 89 miles an hour from J.C. Romero. One of the things that he was concerned about until he got up here to the east, or got up to the east, because he threw a lot of games down in the, in Florida before he rehabbed, AA and AAA, was his philosophy. So he was getting a lot of guys out with off-speed stuff, and He was saying even the other day that his fastball was a little bit better as his outings went on. And right there, it's at 89 miles an hour, and that'll be up even, a tick or two as the season moves on.
You hope so, because he needs a little bit more than that, I think, to be successful. He has pretty good slider for a changeup to right-handed batters.
That one's in the air to right, and Kelly Johnson is going to have his second home run of the evening. Fifth home run of the year for Johnson, and he has given the Diamondbacks a 4-run lead once again.
That was a down and in fastball, looked like. The Phillies can't hit any home runs, but these guys sure can tonight.
It's 5 home runs now for the Diamondbacks. They said that they can score some runs, and they are scoring them tonight.
Yeah, they score. There's no doubt about it. And especially in this ballpark, the way that it flies here. You see what this is. It's down and in. And none of the left-handed hitter likes more than that. Is a down and in fastball. Just drop the head on it and bye-bye.
Well, here's Stephen Drew. He's 0 for 3. And a slider down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. J.C. Romero coming back is the first step forward for the Phil's bullpen to getting back to where they hope to be at full strength. The other step is Brad Lidge, who pitched another scoreless inning tonight for the Reading Phillies in relief of Joe Blanton. And J.C. is now fallen behind the first 2 hitters. 3 balls and no strikes. And ball 4, so Drew is aboard. So back-to-back lefties get aboard for the Diamondbacks.
I don't like what they're saying at all. And Charlie came out and waved to the bullpen before he even got near the line. And normally Rich Studio will come out the first time, but they just don't like what they're watching out there.
So J.C. Romero's night is done. Jose Contreras' night is just beginning when we return. Through 12 pitches, and he gives way now to Jose Contreras, with the Diamondbacks leading at 7-3. For Jose, this is his 6th ball game. No wins, 1 loss, an earned run average of 2.45. He has 6 strikeouts in 3 2/3, and he'll face Justin Upton here at the bottom of the 7th inning. Diamondbacks have hit 5 home runs in tonight's game. Upton 2 for 3. He has singled twice and scored a run. And the first pitch misses inside. 1 ball and no strikes. This is just the 22nd career relief appearance for Contreras. And there's a fly ball to straightaway center. Victorino settles under it and makes the catch. One away, excuse me, here in the 7th. Hey, Saturday, June 5th, there'll be a youth softball celebration. Get some information by going to fandeb@phillies.com or emailing at fandeb@phillies.com or call 215-463-1000. All participants receive a softball celebration water bottle, discounted game tickets for players, coaches, and their families. Again, it's Saturday, June 5th. The clinic is led by members of the National Pro Fast Pitch League. And with one away, here is Mark Reynolds. He has struck out, he's flied out, he's also hit a 2-run home run. And Contreras keeps Drew close at first. Another toss over, that one a little closer, but Drew's back in plenty of time. And Contreras delivers a fastball at 95 at the knees.
Just saw that shot and talked to Ray Tipton, our director. So that's Regina Castellani.
Sure is.
Director of Community Relations for the Phillies for a long time.
That's a good lady right there.
Yeah, moved out here with her husband Bob and their sons. And I guess they're taking in a ball game tonight.
Yeah, there are a lot of Phillies fans out here, as we mentioned. You know, they're all over the ballpark.
Yeah, it's got that kind of game for Phillies fans.
Reynolds hits it sharply right past Bo Porter. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Bo Porter. Oh, there's those guys again texting now, I guess.
Their wrestling masks on.
Yeah.
They don't want their identity to be shown, Wills.
Well, they're safe for that.
They figured they'd walk around with the Nacho Libre wrestling masks and the cheesesteaks. Nobody would know who they were.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of people in the audience, in the crowd like that tonight.
And a breaking ball called. Strike 3. Reynolds is the 2nd out here in the 7th inning.
Listen, I'm going to be at the game. And if they show me in the crowd, here's the way I'm going to be dressed. There we are.
Weren't those guys here last year?
I think so.
I think they might have been here last year.
I don't think you ever forget that look.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's unique.
The only thing that's different now is that that they've added a cape. Got the Flyers flag as the cape. Here's LaRoche, who's 1 for 3.
Nacho Libre.
Yeah, wasn't there a movie Nacho Libre?
You got me on that one.
About wrestlers in Mexico. Those are the masks that they were wearing.
Starred Jack Black.
There you go, Wheels. Way to stay with us here.
Yeah. He did that music movie that was pretty good. Jack Black, right?
Kids.
The kids thing with music. I can't remember. Never mind. Why even go there? Why even go there?
He also did King Kong.
Yeah. King Kong.
1 ball, 1 strike to count out of LaRoche.
School of Rock, that movie
yep.
was called, Tom.
LaRoche out in front of that one.
That's what happens when it gets to be 7-3 and you haven't slept.
And you don't go out to the movies that often, which
right.
you don't.
Nah, I'm not. I've seen a few, but look at that. I think the last one I saw was The High and the Mighty or something. No, I'm just kidding.
1-2 the count to LaRoche. And he's down on strikes. Good pitch from Contreras. Back-to-back strikeouts for Jose. In fact, he retires the only 3 batters he faces here in the 7th. He strands one. That's right. We go to the 8th. It's time to stretch out those arms. It's on. And by Toyota, your local tri-state Toyota dealers. Go Phillies. Go Toyota. Toyota moving forward. Well, 7 in the books here at Chase Field. Phillies trail at 7-3. They had led this one 2-0. Now as we go to the top of the 8th inning. The Phils will try to come from behind. And look, Wills, we've made celebrities out of the cheesesteak wrestlers who are out here at Chase Field.
You know, you think how many chances you have in your lifetime to ever have your picture taken with guys that look like that. You may as well take advantage of it. I'd run down and get that done.
That'd be great if you did that right now. That would be very funny if you did that.
Yeah, good.
Juan Gutierrez in his 8th ball game for the Diamondbacks. No wins, a loss, a 6.43 earned run average. Good numbers, obviously, against the opposition, but he's allowed 4 hits and 4 walks in 7 innings of work. So here we go. The Phils with a couple more chances, trailing it by 4. And Ryan Howard 0 for 3. He'll dig in to start this off. And a swing and a miss at a 95-mile-an-hour sinker, and it's 0-1.
His timing's off a little bit right now. You can just see that. That's a fastball. And it's almost like his head was flying towards the outfield as he started to swing there.
And that one trickles foul.
See how he looked down after he swung too. You know, you can tell when a hitter's struggling a little bit with their timing, and it doesn't take much for it to get off a little bit. And that's what's going on with Ryan, I think.
There's David Herndon loosening up in the pen.
Comfort is so important when you're a hitter, and he just doesn't seem comfortable.
Yeah, he had that the first road trip, and even the first few games at home. Blasts that one foul off to the left and up to the upper deck. Chopper back toward the middle. Stephen Drew toward the second base bag, throws out Ryan. And there's one away here in the 8th. Well, it's time now for our Coors Light Freeze Cam. And when this play took place, things were going pretty well for the Phillies, particularly with this call. Chris Young out in center field. He doesn't have it there. He has it there. But then as he tries to make the exchange, he drops it.
You know, technically, you have to make a transfer.
That's what we were saying, yep.
And, you know, you saw Jason Worth pick up on it and score. And you ever see a 4-base error?
I was thinking the same thing. No, I haven't. Particularly looking at it underneath the batter's line.
I mean, I've seen a single that gets through an outfielder and the guy will circle. I've seen that happen, but that's a single and a 3-base error.
Well, and A.J. Hinch was thrown out arguing the play. Chris Young immediately, once Jason was running around the bases, immediately came in and said something to Dale Scott, because you just don't see it every day. But it is part of the rule that you have to make that exchange. There we go. Pop up toward right. Upton coming in. He calls off Kelly Johnson, and he caught that ball with 2 hands, and there are 2 away. How about after Jason crossed home plate, 3 batters later, Brian Schneider flied out to Chris Young to end that inning in the 4th. He caught it with 1 hand and ran in without putting the bare hand into the glove to take the ball out. I think he was trying to prove a little bit of point.
Yeah. Of course, that's the 3rd out. You know, you're taking the ball to the dugout, and you will eventually remove it from your glove at some point. You know, if you figure, you read the rule book and all, Dale Scott probably got that call right. You see him using 2 hands there. But it's a call you won't see very often. You know, they're just having some fun now because they're ahead. And if they'd have lost by a run or that run, that wouldn't be so funny.
Well, and Dale Scott made that call right away.
Yep, and a good look at it. I mean, when you saw the replay, and when the umpire was out there, he had a tremendous angle on it.
0-2 the count to Francisco. And he takes a pitch low, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I think that's one of those ones you probably wouldn't see umpires make all that often, but when they look at it later on, the supervisors and everything, they say you probably did the right thing. Save yourself a lot of trouble if you hadn't.
And a call, strike 3. A breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. It's a 1-2-3 8th inning for Gutierrez. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Phillies trail it 7-3. David Herndon will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies trail at 7-3. And Herndon will face Chris Young, Cole Gillespie, and Chris Snyder. Those are the scheduled hitters for the Diamondbacks. Trying to keep this at a 4-run deficit. 7th ball game for Herndon. And David Herndon pitched in last night's game against the Braves, finished things up. And he's ahead, no balls, and 1 strike to Chris Young. 2 for 3 in this game. In the air to right field, not deep. Jason Worth coming on, still coming on. It's going to drop in for the 3rd hit of the night for Young. And that is the 10th hit for the Diamondbacks. And Chris Young, who had been 1 for 12 on this homestand before tonight, has his second 3-hit game of the season. Here's Cole Gillespie. He has struck out 3 times.
Yeah, Hamels really handled him tonight. Threw him a lot of change-ups, and he kept chasing pitches. It was a weird outing again tonight for Hamels. You look at that 1 inning he had, and I wasn't in there with you, but it looked like he was throwing a lot of balls down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, he just lost his location, during that inning.
And they smoked him. And then other innings, he looked like he could throw it where he wanted to.
Toward third, should be 2. Polanco to second for 1. Over to first. A 5-4-3 double play. So just like last night, Herndon allows the leadoff batter to get aboard, and then he gets the double play ball to put the first 2 outs on the board.
Yeah, that's his MO. David's going to throw the heavy sinker ball and get his ground balls.
It was good to see him come back last night and have a scoreless outing after giving up those 4 runs in the 3rd of an inning against the Marlins.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what they can do. They like him. Can they keep him all year?
There's Snyder, who takes one up high. 1 ball and no strikes. Gerardo Parra is in the on-deck circle for the Diamondbacks. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Aaron Heilman is loosening up in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. 1-1 the count. I'll tell you, he's been throwing a lot of sliders too the last couple of outings.
Well, he's working on it. That's a pitch in progress for him, which if he can get one of those to go along with that sinker ball, be pretty effective.
One's down low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Snyder's got a 2-run home run tonight. He's also flied out to center, and he's walked. That walk came back in 6th. And there it is again, another slider, and it drops in for strike 2. I don't know how much he's worked with guys in the bullpen, but he's, I've seen him talking to Chad Durbin about that slider, and he's got a lot of guys out there that, could teach him things that can help him out on the mound. I mean, you can't teach that 95-mile-an-hour sinker that he has, but they can certainly help with that slider.
Yeah, and he has to be a composure guy in the major leagues because he probably won't get a lot of strikeouts, and he's going to have base runners. And he'll even jam guys. Jam guys last week, got broken bat hits. The first hit tonight, the hit off from tonight was a little jammer. So he's going to have base runners, and he has to concentrate, throw the sinker, and get the ground ball to get out of the inning.
See, Schneider wants it away. It was right at that spot, and it's 3-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Giants lead the Cardinals 4-1 at the bottom of the 7th inning. Tim Lincecum has 8 strikeouts over 7.
Should get him on Wednesday on getaway day in San Francisco if they stay in rotation.
It would be a matchup of Lincecum and Cole Hamels. That's the way it would play out right now. And that one just missed inside. And it's ball 4. So Gerardo Parra will pitch hit for the Diamondbacks here in the 8th inning. Charlie make the adjustment to his lineup card. Parra last year hit .290 with 5 home runs for the D-backs. He gave them a pretty good spark. In fact, they had a couple guys last year that I thought played pretty well. Parra was one. The other one was a kid by the name of Ryan Roberts, who had 7 home runs. Played a lot of second base for the Diamondbacks, who didn't make the team out of spring training this year.
Yeah, about the time we saw them last year, Roberts was playing. Parra did have a good run for them last year and knocked in big runs for them. From Venezuela.
And that one's towards second base. Nice hop for Chase Utley. And David Herndon gets through this 8th inning. He allows 2 base runners, no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. One more chance for the Phillies as we go to the 9th. As popular as ever, so make your plans now for this year's Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights. The first one is Monday, May 3rd, when the Cardinals are in town, and then Monday, May 17th, the Pirates will be there. Both of those games are 7:05 starts. You can order your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Again, those are for the Hatfield Dollar Dog Nights at the ballpark. Now we go to the top of the 9th inning. Phillies trail at 7-3. And they will face Aaron Heilman, a guy that they've seen an awful lot during his career. Heilman, in his 8th game, no wins, 1 loss, a 7.11 earned run average.
Phillies had a lot of luck with this guy when he's with the Mets.
He's allowed 35 earned runs in 46 1/3 against the Phillies during his career. That's a lot of runs.
That kind of sums it up, that they had a lot of luck against him.
And Raul Ibanez will lead it off.
Heilman used to come in and close for them and for the Mets, and they beat him. Phillies beat him a lot of times. No, he got them sometimes, but it seemed like they got him more.
A.J. Hinch was telling the media today that Chad Qualls is indeed his closer. Now, this is a 4-run game, though, here in the top of the 9th. Raul, a chance to bat here, hitting 196. 9 hits in 46 at-bats. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. He got a pretty good pitch to hit there. See his career numbers against the Phillies, a 6.80 earned run average. Ibanez 1 for 4 against him for his career. And he spoils that one down the left field line, so it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Guys that the Phillies have in their lineup or on their bench have combined to hit 4 homers against Aaron Heilman during their turns against him. Bring it to the count. That's what the Phillies need. They need some base runners here in the top of the ninth. Brian Schneider waits on deck. Schneider's hit the ball hard, 2 of his 3 at-bats in this game. Ball 4, and Ibanez is aboard, so a leadoff walk. And that'll bring Brian Schneider to the plate. Hey, Phillies action continues on Comcast Sportsnet against the Giants with Phillies pregame live. That's Monday night at 9:30 Eastern Time. Game 1 of 3 between the Phils and the Giants.
Getting calls up in the bullpen right now in case Heilman gets into more trouble. Pitches it into a save situation. Of course, he can't do that for himself, but he could do it for somebody else.
Yeah, there is Chad Falls. And he is the closer for the D-backs. So Mel Stottlemyre Jr. out to the mound to talk to Aaron Heilman just for a moment. Said this has been one of the problem spots for the Diamondbacks so far this year. And one of the reasons why they find themselves in the basement. Schneider tonight 1 for 3. Singleton scored a run in the 7th. And he's taken all the way, and he takes one for a strike. Schneider just 2 for 11 against Heilman for his career. And Heilman's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes, so Schneider fouls that one over the dugout. Greg Dobbs has come out of the on-deck circle for the Phillies. So he'll be the next pinch hitter used by Charlie Manuel. There's Greg. And that'll leave Wilson Valdez and Carlos Ruiz as the only hitters that are available. If Phillies were to tie this up, you would assume Valdez will come in and play shortstop. And Schneider fouls it back again. Diamondbacks have brought in a handful of veteran guys to help their bullpen. Heilman is one. Bobby Howry is another one. Blaine Boyer, who we've seen with the Braves before, is another guy that's part of Mel Stottlemyre's pen. And a good changeup from Heilman. And Schneider is down on strikes. So 1 away here in the 9th inning.
Fastball changeup has always been Aaron Heilman's repertoire. He throws a slider too, but for the most part he's lived on fastball changeup, and that was a good one. Fastball has always been the low 90s. You know, he has a good arm. It just that, you know, some guys can't close. Just one of those things. And you know, the Mets finally had to give up on him in that area.
Yeah, he has for his career only closed a handful of games. In fact, the most he's closed was in 2005, where he closed out 5 games for the Mets. Dobbs the batter, and he sends one in the air to left, over toward the line. Gillespie on the run, and he crosses over to foul territory to make the catch, 2 away. And the Phillies down to their final out as Ibanez goes back to first. And now some of the guys are coming up that have good numbers against Heilman. Victorino is one.
There they are.
See, the other fans are trying to get them, into this game a little bit more now.
I think they were blown out emotionally. They've had a tough night, taking pictures.
Victorino takes one at the knees for a strike, a sinker at 92. Shane 1 for 4.
Those guys look like they peaked earlier.
Well, the Phillies are up 2-0,
yeah.
you think?
Well, yeah, that was better.
Ibanez goes, and Victorino waves at a changeup, and it's 0-2. Phillies down to their final out, their final strike here in the 9th inning. They trail it by 4. And Victorino stays alive. He gets a piece of it and lifts it over the screen. Way inside, 1-2 the count. Snyder's going out to the mound. I don't think he was crossed up on that pitch at all. He went out earlier when Ibanez stole second just to go over the signs really quick.
And it's a fastball in. I have no idea why he would go out there. Right.
You want a changeup there?
Well, if he had called a changeup and he threw a fastball, he'd have never been able to catch
That's what I was thinking.
But you're right. You know, the first time he went out there because there was a runner on second, he just had to make sure that, you know, they're going to change signs. And he went out there in a hurry to get it done.
1-2 the count to Shane with Ibanez on second. Here comes the pitch. Change up, and again he pops a foul behind the screen. Diamondbacks picked up Heilman in a trade from the Cubs this past offseason. Spent 1 year in Chicago. A 1-2 pitch. On the hands, a looper toward right center. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Ibanez will score. Victorino's aboard. His second RBI of the night. And the Phils now have cut this to a 3-run game.
Well, the tying run is now in the on-deck circle, so this is a save situation.
And here comes Kirk Gibson. That's going to be it for Aaron Heilman. Chad Qualls will come into the ballgame to face Placido Polanco. You just saw Chase Utley. He is the tying run in the on-deck circle. We've got a pitching change here at Chase Field in Arizona. The Phils down by 3, have a runner aboard, and have a little bit of a heartbeat left when we return. They've got a base runner with 2 outs. Kirk Gibson has decided to go out to the mound and take out Aaron Heilman, who you see sitting there on the bench, and bring in Chad Qualls as closer. This is now a save situation. This is the 9th game for Qualls. He has no wins, 1 loss, 2 saves, and 2 blown saves. In fact, his last outing against the Cardinals was one of those blown saves. Against the Cardinals, Qualls went a third. He allowed 3 runs on 3 hits, including a homer by Colby Rasmus. Victorino goes. The pitch is taken low. 1-0 the count to Polanco.
Well, they're not holding these guys on right now. So, of course, they just scored fielder's choices or defensive indifference.
See Polanco 1 for 2 with a home run against Qualls. And that's a strike on the inside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. And 1-2 the count. Qualls, who saved 24 games last year for the Diamondbacks. He allowed 53 hits in 52 innings. One ball, 2 strikes the count. Polanco has 1 hit and 4 at bats this evening. He lays off, and it's 2-2. By the way, they've just changed Shane Victorino's run this second to a stolen base and not a defensive indifference. That's his 2nd stolen base of the year. See what Qualls has done against the Phillies for his career. An earned run average of just over 5. The 2-2 pitch. Opposite way, and it's picked up by Adam LaRoche, who will run it to the bag, and the Diamondbacks have taken game 1 of this 3-game series against the Phils. Chad Qualls closes it out for his 3rd save. He saves it for Chris Benson, who picks up the win. Mark Reynolds, he had a mammoth 2-run home run as part of a 5-run 4th. Kelly Johnson hit 2 home runs tonight. He is our Chevrolet player of the game. He hit 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. He now has 5 on the year. And Charlie Manuel will head back to the clubhouse with his team now even at 2 wins and 2 losses on this road trip. So the Diamondbacks win it by a final score of 7-4. They collect 5 home runs. We'll take a break and be back and talk more about it after this.